Oh, it fucked the pages up. Damn it. Past Susan, why did you do that? Hey, it's Sue in the restricted section. Today I thought I'd do a video about some books that I read because I saw the movie and I thought it was really good and it made me want to read the book. And apparently my pets are going to be climbing all around me in this video. So the first book I want to talk about is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I saw the movie based on this book when I was a teenager. I don't remember how old I was, but I absolutely loved it. I've watched it several times since then, and so I decided to pick up the book and give it a read as well, and I really loved it too. If you don't know the story, it's about a girl who is, her parents are very poor and they send her to live in the city, her and her sister, and they get separated, unfortunately, but she ends up growing up in a geisha house and she eventually becomes a geisha herself. And she falls in love with this man, but there's a lot of things keeping them apart. So there's romance, there's suspense, they're in the midst of a war, and it's just a really fascinating story, I think, and it is kind of a feel-good story. The book is not as happy. The ending's not as happily ever after as the movie, or at least the movie leaves out a detail that makes it a little less of a happy ending. I mean, it still was a happy ending. But yeah, I really love this book and the movie, and I would recommend both. I find that when I see a movie first and then read the book that I like both, but if I read the book first and then watch a movie, a lot of times I end up not liking the movie. Does anybody else feel that way? Next is one of my favorite books ever, and that is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I saw the Disney movie to this when I was quite little. I don't remember how old I was, but I absolutely loved it. I also had like a little golden book version of this when I was a kid that I really liked. But I liked the movie so much that I decided to read the book when I was in middle school, and I also love the book, and I think everyone knows what this is about, so I'm not going to explain it. Next I have Let Me In, or as the original title is called, Let the Right One In, and that is by John Ajvide Lindquist. I probably butchered that, but this book is about a little boy who is kind of bullied at school and he doesn't have the best home life, and then he meets a little girl and it turns out that she's a vampire, and it's a horror novel, but it's very much more about the relationship between them, I think, than any kind of, you know, blood and scary stuff. But there is some pretty disturbing stuff in it, I will say. But I saw the Swedish version of the movie first, and then also watched the American version, and I liked both. I kind of like the Swedish version a little bit better because there's a scene at the end in a swimming pool, which if you've seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But there's a scene in the swimming pool at the end that I think the Swedish version just did way better than the American version did. But both are pretty good. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the book too. I will say it took me a long time to get through the first half of it. I think maybe that was partly because the movies pretty much exactly followed the first half, so I already knew everything. In the last half of the book, that's where they kind of diverged a little bit, and there was some stuff in the book that the movies left out. But if you're a fan of horror at all, I would definitely recommend this if you haven't read it, because I really enjoyed it. Next is House of Sand and Fog by Andre Dubus III. This book is about a young woman who's fallen on hard times, and kind of all she has left is her house. And then she loses her house, and an Iranian family who is also struggling to get by moves in, and so they sort of, their lives become entangled, and some shit happens that's real intense. But Yeah, I saw this movie again when I was a teenager, I think. I think it just came on TV or something and I watched it and I really, really loved it. And then I saw that it was a book, so I picked up the book and read it and really, really loved it as well. So again, definitely would recommend. Next, I have the book Soul Survivor by Dean Koontz. This was made into, I think it was like a made-for-TV movie that I saw when I was probably like, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old or something. And so if I watched it again now, I don't know if I would still like it. It might have been pretty cheesy since it was made for TV, but I just thought it was a really cool movie. So this was the first Dean Koontz book I ever picked up and read, and I really loved the book too. It's been a very long time, so I hope I remember it correctly, but it has something to do with a little girl who has special powers. Like she's in a plane crash, and miraculously she is the only survivor, and it's because she was like able to protect herself, or maybe someone with her survived as well and she protected both of them. I don't remember for sure. Like I said, it's been a really long time, and there's for some reason no synopsis in this book. I don't see that I see anyway. But yeah, I went on to read in middle school. I read the shit out of Dean Koontz. I've read so many Dean Koontz books. It's ridiculous. And then sometime in high school, I kind of lost interest. There's only probably 2 books by him that I still would say I liked and would recommend, and that's this one and one called False Memory. These 2 books really stuck with me. The rest of his books kind of all meld together, and some of the plots are pretty similar. I don't know if I'd recommend Dean Koontz overall, but those 2 books I thought were pretty good. I think some people kind of like to call him the poor man's Stephen King, but I don't know. I actually haven't read any Stephen King. What's up with that? I don't know. And then the next book I have is another one of my absolute favorites, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I saw the movie that was made in I think it was the early 2000s, based on this book when I was a teenager and loved it. I thought the story was really awesome, and so I picked up the book and read it and still thought it was fucking awesome. And it's a great book. It's just a fantastic story. I love it. And last on my list I have, again, another one of my absolute favorite books, so I guess reading books based on their movies has worked out pretty well for me. But that is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. This is a double bind-up of that and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, I think Les Miserables is just another beautiful story. In some ways, it reminds me of The Count of Monte Cristo. I mean, they're quite different, really, but they both, you know, kind of involve justice, I think. But yeah, again, for this one, I saw the I think it was made in the 90s movie with Liam Neeson and Jeffrey Rush and Claire Danes. I don't think I've ever seen Les Mis the musical. I should probably do that. But yeah, I really loved the movie. I thought the story was just awesome, so I picked up the book and also still thought it was fucking awesome, just like The Count of Monte Cristo. So those are some books that I read because I saw the movie and liked it. I don't know if there's ever been a case where I saw a movie and loved it and then read the book and hated the book. I don't think that's ever happened to me, because as we all know, the book is 9 times out of 10 better than the movie anyway. Yeah, so let me know down below if, you know, what books that you read because of the movie. Are there any movies you've seen that you liked better than the books? I'd be curious to know. And if you liked this video, please subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Megan's video should be up tomorrow, so you can look forward to that. And I'll put some information down below where you can find us other places on the internet. And I'll see you next time. Bye.